Now we can go ahead and exit out of this document because we already brought all the layers into our main document. Let's go ahead and quickly cut out this image and the rest of these and stitch them together. So for this, I think the easiest way to do this quickly will be the magic wand tool and selecting the outside because the outside is more uniform than the inside. So let's go ahead and do that. Right here. Now remember, this arm doesn't matter, so we'll cut off about right here, keeping the tie, and then cut off out here, and then cut off the arm somewhere along here. And his face and hair will also be different, so we can just get rid of these shoes right now. We'll do that later in a second. So really what we want to make sure we have cut out properly is this main outline. We'll deal with this in a second. We don't need to worry about his head. We'll come around to this side of the suit. Make sure this looks good. Oh, that doesn't matter because we're going to come up here anyway. And then let's cut out this bench area. From him. Okay. And we'll probably use the pen tool to get a better selection around the tie. So let's not even worry about that right now. So let's go to select and mask with this. Oh, select and mask. I clicked the wrong thing. Okay, invert this. Now let's quickly go around this suit, or the arms here, where it really matters that we have it right. So let's go to a smart radius of about 1. And that looks good to me. Let's just bring it in a little bit. So shift edge inward a bit. And let's do the refine edge brush tool around this tie. Let's get right in here. Just paint around the tie and see if that helps. I'll go ahead and use my tablet for this. All of this image is going to be in the background, covered by a lot of other elements. So that's why we're not spending tons of time on it. Let's paint in some of this. Let's go ahead and paint out the bench here. Same over here. Okay, now we can go through and refine the edge of this selection. That was not helpful. Maybe I'll just go up to here. I need to zoom in. Okay, because the background kind of changes there, it's giving me problems, so we'll just ignore that. Get closer in here and try to find that edge a little better. I just made it worse. We'll have to go through and paint this. Okay, and now let's go up here, like around here, and make sure this looks perfect. Because the bench he's laying on is black, it's really easy to cut this out. Oops. Okay, then up here with these shoes. Okay, so you're probably thinking this looks terrible. It does, but we've made the adjustments we need to make so that when we do create a layer mask, we can just go ahead and quickly adjust it. But we've got some of the important parts already done for us through Select and Mask. So remember, you can only use the Refine Edge Brush tool in Select and Mask, and you can make some bubble refinements to your selection. So it is really useful to use, even if you only use it as a first step. So let's go in here and paint out everything that we don't want to see, just real quickly. So a time when you don't want to use a brush with a soft edge is when you're doing stuff like this, because the hardness, or I guess when it's like a soft edge, will overstep the bounds of where your brush size is supposed to end, and you don't want to accidentally cut out too much. So this is a situation where that's actually not a good idea. Okay, we can just paint all of this out. Great, and then when I worked on this edge, messed it up a little bit, so let's go back in here and paint this back in a little bit. I tried to use the Refine Edge brush tool on that area, but it didn't work so great. Okay, then along here, let's get a really small brush and just paint this out. Oh, with black. Okay, let's get in here and fix the shirt. This is just where the Refine Edge brush tool cut out some elements that we still wanted to see. So just paint those back in. It's as good as new. With a slightly softer brush, I'm gonna paint really close to the border here. Good, now let's get in here. And this is where his arm, again, we're not gonna use this arm, but we might cut it off around here. So let's just go ahead and not worry about anything here. Just focus on the other areas of the arm. So like this, we do need to cut out well because this will probably still be visible in our composite. Okay, and then this edge should be a little sharper, so just paint in that corner a little better. Good. Okay, now up here, let's fix this. Right here at the where the head comes in. Just want to make sure that's not visible when we overlay the other head layer above it. Great, and now let's look around the tie. We need to clean this up a little bit. When doing this type of work, I'm mainly using the X arrow keys to switch between black and white, and then the bracket keys to change the size of my brush. Using those hotkeys can just speed up your workflow so much more and make this tedious process a little bit more bearable. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of go quickly through the rest of this. because it does not, this part of the image is going to be so small that as long as there's no like really easily noticeable errors, we'll be just fine. Okay, that's great. Now let's reset our view here. So let's go to the arm and cut this out so we can put it on our image. So just with the magic wand tool, go here and try to add everything into the selection. So this side of the arm we can cut out easily. This side is a little more difficult because it doesn't have that white background right behind it. You know what? It's doing a great job. This little piece here, I think we'll just have to paint out manually. So let's select and mask this. I think one thing that'll help with this is if we smooth it out a little bit. There we go, add a slight feather. And bring the whole selection inward. Okay, so this will paint out when we have our mask. The hand, I want to make sure it looks really good, and it's not quite there. Let's make sure the areas that need to be seen are visible. And then with the Refine Edge brush tool, we'll go around here. Yeah, it's not working so great for this area, so let's accept that as it is, and then when we need to make adjustments, we can do those in the layer mask. Let's click OK. Create a new layer mask. Now we can paint out this mask here. So you can get rid of all of this. Now let's go through and kind of touch this up a little bit. So we'll make sure that these little transparent areas aren't transparent. And then let's fix up this line here. Okay, so you see these borders, how we're seeing some black behind here. They're just not clean and smooth. So let's use the smudge tool on these. And just take the smudge tool, and here we're also getting some weird border. I think maybe this is where like the background was slightly different. Let's just bring it inward. Let's see, I think here, this fingernail got cut out. Yes, let's just paint that in ourselves. It's a little better. Right now, try to use the smudge tool down here. Okay, and then this we need to paint. Did not get a good view of the backdrop. Just paint out that side like that, and then we'll come here and paint in this side, back where it needs to be. Okay, great, so now we have our hand. Let's stick this onto, I keep spelling head wrong. Okay, so now we have our hand. Let's stick this onto here where it needs to be. So, like that. Let's warp this a little bit. Edit puppet warp, and we can create some points here. And just bring these to match. Yeah, just like that is good. And then this, we want to bring that seam right in there so it looks perfect. Okay, great. We'll accept that. And now we can paint out down here where we don't want to see it. So let's just get our brush tool, and with black, paint out the edge, paint out this edge, all the way until right here, where our layers meet. Okay, and now this is a little too sudden of a change, so let's go in here and with a white brush expand this a little bit. Oh, because we cut it out, that's not going to do anything for us. So we can just expand it inward. Okay, great. Now we have successfully changed the arm on Andrew. Now let's go and cut out these legs, which will be very easy because they are against that white backdrop. Just bring the tolerance up. Yeah, just a few clicks and we've got it. Okay. Select and mask. Let's just zoom in here. And we've got good edges for the most part. Here needs some help. But that'll be easy to paint. So let's just quickly paint out all of this that we don't want. Good. Save that and create a new layer mask here. Let's look at this shoe. That edge right there is a little messed up, so let's just paint that border back in. Just smooth it out. Okay, excellent. Let's do that for the other set of legs. Looks good. Select and mask. Do these quick adjustments. Bring the edge inward. Okay. Create a new layer mask, and then let's go and paint this where it needs to be fixed as well. Okay. We'll paint out everything we don't want. Great, so now we've got our two sets of legs. Let's, that is pocket or something. Let's just paint that out. Oops. Great. Legs, legs. Base image, torso and arms. Other arm, and now the head. So for this, we'll get a little more specific. What we can do is we can just go around here with the pen tool. So let's go to that. And we'll just quickly go across all of this. with the pen tool. Okay, so let's go here real quick. Go around all the hair. Okay, and now we can go ahead and turn that into a layer mask. Okay, now let's feather out some of this hair. You know what, let's place it on the image below. Make sure it's fine. Okay, we'll just go half opacity here. Scale it down a bit so the face's sizes match up. Take a look at that. The angle's a little different, you know, on these images. Which means we need to make this head bigger, actually. Oh, not that big. So now to cut out the hair, let's go ahead and duplicate the layer. And on the duplicated layer, delete the layer mask. Let's go to our channels, select one of them, create a mask based on that selection, Control I to invert it, and then let's just go to that mask and make some adjustments to have it just show us the hair. So this is good. That's good. Now from here we can dodge and burn it, especially on this side. So we have the hair here, and then we have the face here. So let's just go out and paint out the hair here. And on this one, let's paint out everything below the hair. Oh, wrong layer. Now if we turn these, oh, they're both on. So now we can look at these. Let's turn on this layer down here. So to blend these together a little better, let's just look at where they're intersecting and make adjustments there. So this hair kind of, I'd like it to just go back. So let's, on the hair layer, just paint it out. So we just see the hair as it goes backwards. And I need to fix that on this layer. Okay, now over here, actually looks kind of cool on this side. We just need to blend it a little better. So here, back on our dodge and burn. So let's isolate the view of that. Let's try to, first off, paint this out a little better. And let's see if we can burn this. Great. Let's turn these back on and see how it looks. Much better. Still needs a little work over here. So let's just go with a normal brush, but at a low opacity. I brush some of that out to blend our two layers together a little bit better. Okay. Great, and now this part of the ear is showing through on this layer. So what we'll do is we'll just use the clone stamp tool to paint in on top of that so that it doesn't show through. Perfect. So let's just position these legs. Make sure they're underneath everything. I want to be able to tell what they are, but I don't want it to look weird. We're kind of faking the angle a little bit. Let's try the other legs. Okay, so I think what would look cool is if one of the legs was up and one was down, kind of like he was kicking and swimming. So let's have the up leg be this one maybe, and the down leg be that one. Let's see if his arm was, I guess it doesn't matter because he would just be kicking. Okay, so in case I changed my mind, let's go ahead and duplicate each of these layers. And we'll work on the duplicates. So right here, in comparison, I think we'll use this up, this down. So let's go here and just paint out this leg. And then go here and paint out this leg. And now we have to position them correctly. So it's kind of weird because it's just like behind him. Let's rotate this a little better. Okay, and I think if we scale these both up, cool. And then this is showing through on this layer, I believe. So we'll just paint that out. Great, so there we have Andrew. Let's turn him into a smart object by selecting all of these. We'll just call this top layer Andrew Rescue so that our smart object is called Andrew Rescue. Right click and convert to smart object. So now we have our two smart objects, Andrew Rescue and Andrew dying. Great, and that's looking good. Now in the next video, we'll start placing these and start bringing in our other images to create the whole composite.